Hello everyone, uh, welcome to BISP Solutions. So from today we will be beginning with our webinar on fixed assets. So let's wait for a few moments and then we will be beginning the webinar. So before moving to the today's topic, let's understand what will be our plan in a nutshell. So we will be defining the fixed assets configurations. We will be defining depreciation rules and methods. Then we will be seeing how various transactions such as mass additions, asset addition through spreadsheet, and retirement and all is managed in the fixed asset Oracle Fusion fixed asset. So that portion we will be covering various transactions. As we will go further, we'll see what all transactions we will be seeing. Then how the accounting is created, how the entries are generated, and all the exception reports and all we can download those, we can see. And then the general topics like what if analysis and inquiring assets, how we can manage all books, that thing we will be covering as and when they will be referred to. So before moving to the Oracle Fusion fixed assets, let's understand what is the fixed asset and how it is managed in the Oracle Fusion application. So this is our today's agenda, like the introduction of the fixed asset, understanding flex fields, the key flex fields like category, location, asset key, and then the configurations. So these configurations we will be covering today: the fixed asset flex field value sets, the structure, then the system controls, fiscal years, asset calendars, and the prorate conventions. So this is our first slide. So we will begin from here, the introduction to the fixed asset. So fixed asset refers to the long-term assets that are used in the operation of a business. They provide long-term financial benefits, having a useful life of more than 1 year. They can be classified as property, plant, equipments, furnitures, goodwill, etc. So for example, a building, land, plant and machinery, these can be our fixed assets, and these are shown in the balance sheet as a balance sheet item. They can be tangibles or intangibles. The fixed assets are depreciated based on the certain criteria over the period of life of that asset. As you might be aware that land is an appreciable asset and it is not depreciated. So this is a brief introduction on the fixed assets. Fixed assets are very crucial to any company. Apart from being used to help a business generate revenue, they are closely looked at by the investors when they decide whether to invest in a company or not. So now we will be talking about the figure that you can see on my screen. So let's refer to the figure. So this lists a framework to develop and manage our asset flex fields, system control, fiscal year, location, calendar, prorate convention, asset books, and asset category. We will be configuring all of these items. So as we might be aware of the flex fields, like in the general ledger, we have accounting key flex field under which we specify our chart of accounts. Likewise, in assets, we have three type of flex field: the asset category, location, and the asset key flex field. So these all the three structure, instances, value sets we need to create, and those values are then used by the categories and location to help us identify to which category or which location that asset belongs to. So we will be configuring the flex fields, namely the category, location, and asset key flex field, by creating the value sets, structures, instances, and then providing the values to each of them. After that comes the fiscal years, the calendar, and the prorate conventions, based on which the depreciation is computed. Then the asset books are determined along with the asset categories. So when all these things are linked together, then only we can apply depreciation to any of the assets. And system control is a one-time setup. When we will be covering that topic, we will be talking more about it. So we will be configuring each of these setups manually using various tasks. However, this can be configured using the rapid implementation spreadsheet in a one go. Okay, so let's understand the flex field first. So flex field is a set of placeholder fields associated with business objects and placed on the application pages to contain additional data. There can be three types of flex field: descriptive, extensive, and key flex field. We can use the flex fields to modify the business objects and meet enterprise data management requirements without changing the data model or performing any database programming. Using flex fields, you can capture different data of the same database table and modify the application features. When you first define your flex field, you can choose how many segments you want to use and what order you want them to appear in. You also can choose how you want to validate each of the segments. The decisions you make affect how you define your value sets. When your user enters a value, your value set validates that value. So the types are descriptive, extensive, and key flex fields. So both extensible and descriptive flex fields provide an expansion space that you can use to configure additional attributes without additional programming. Descriptive flex fields are stored in additional column of the same table as that of the object, whereas extensible flex fields are stored in a separate extension table. However, a key flex field is a key that is composed of segments in which one or more segments may have a meaning. The key or code uniquely identifies an object, such as account, asset, or part, or a job, that implementers can configure to validate any way they wish. The definition of a key flex field provides a list of possible combination of key flex field segment values, which is known as the code combinations. Each type of code combination is called a structure. Each structure is identified by a string that is called the structure code. Much like a context values in descriptive flex field, a key flex field structure code indicates how database columns are organized to store the code combination. Now we'll understand the key flex fields that we are using in the fixed assets. So the key flex fields are not optional. We have to configure them to ensure that our application operates correctly. Key flex field provides a means to capture a key such as a part number, job code, account code. The key flex field can consist of one or more segment, and each segment has a meaning. So we can configure and maintain key flex field definitions with manage key flex fields tasks to get a set of predefined key flex fields, we use the manage key flex field task, which is there in the setup and maintenance area. For more information about a specific key flex field, we can see the help of the product where the associated business component is implemented. Talking about the structure, the architecture, so there are 3 steps when we configure any key flex field. We create the segments of the segments which are to be used in that structure, then the structure, and then the value sets. So flex field metadata is stored in the flex field metadata table. When you configure a key flex field, you define metadata about the key flex field covering aspects such as the segments in the structure in the flex field, and value sets in the each segment. So what happens, the segments are mapped in the structure with the value set, and then the structure is mapped with the instance to be used. So based on the flex field metadata, actual part numbers are captured as a combination of segment values and stored in the combinations table. A combination table contains all the segment columns for a flex field, a unique ID column, and a structure instance number column. The structure instance number column differentiates multiple arrangements of a segment column. As I have already told you, in general ledger configuration, we configure the chart of accounts, value sets, structure instance, and provide the values. In the same manner, we will be configuring 3 flex fields in the fixed asset. So the first one will be asset category, which will help to create categories and group assets by financial information in relevant categories. The location flex field helps to group and track your asset by its physical location. An asset key flex field groups your asset by non-financial information. You design your key flex field, asset key flex field, to record the information you want. This is non-financial information. So moving to the configuration part, this was the basic introduction part. Now if we move to the configuration part, we will be first seeing how we will be configuring fixed assets flex field value sets. So as I have told you, there are 3 flex fields: the category flex field, location, and asset key. So by using the category, we can create the category structure within which we can maintain the asset related classification. So if you see to the example over here, we can have 2 categories, like major category, then minor category. Major category can have the values as building, vehicles, furniture. This major category can be an independent value on which there can be dependent value like minor category. So if you will select building, the option that will come will be office and factory. If you select vehicle as a major category, car, bikes, truck can be your minor categories. Likewise for furniture, you can have minor category values as chair, tables, etc. You can have maximum 7 segments, like major, then minor, then sub minor, and likewise based on your client's specification. Same way for location, we can maintain the information relating to the asset locations to track the location of an asset. Like if I want to record like where my asset is situated, then the country, state, city, or the building can be the way of the information that I need to maintain. If like in India and in Maharashtra, Mumbai, and in building 1, building 2, in which building is my asset located, I can tag that asset like that in my location flex field. So I can have 4 values in my location flex field: country, state, city. These will be the segments, and India, Maharashtra, USA, California, these all will be the values under the various segments of that location flex field to locate the asset. Then comes the asset key flex field. So asset key flex field, we if we want to track the asset with certain additional criteria, then we can use this asset key flex field. So if we have purchased the asset from some other country, or we need to tag them as imported goods, then we can use imported asset key flex field value to mark it as imported or new, or a technical equipment or a storage tank, or likewise we can tag that asset to identify what that asset belongs to. These can be any number of your non-financial data. So these are the three value sets which we are going to create. So let's move to the application quickly, and then we will be creating those value sets. So let me just log into my instance. I'll sign in. For creating this structure, both of the three, all the three, the category, asset key, and the location key flex fields are mandatory to create. But when we will be creating any asset, the asset key value is optional to provide. So we will go to the setup and maintenance area. Here from the setup, I'll select financials. So these are all the functional area available. I'll select fixed assets. If you see, all the required tasks are available here. And the first one is the manage fixed asset flex field value sets. So these we will be covering today till prorate conventions. So fixed asset flex field value sets. I'll quickly create the value sets. It is very simple process. So I will be creating for all the three, the asset category, the asset location, and the asset key. So I'll quickly click on add. I'll give the value set name as demo major category module. I will select as assets. So you can select it from the drop down also. This is assets. Then validation type as independent, value data type as character, value subtype type as text, maximum length as there will be categories in the text format. So I will take maximum length as 30, and I'll create another one, demo minor category module assets, and this will be our dependent value set, which will be depending on major category. So see, when we will select dependent here, the independent value set the system will ask from us. Text. Now value set I will select as demo so demo major category is available. Select this one. So now all the values that we will be selecting in the manner category will be, which we will depend them on the major categories. So just click on save and close. So these are the these are the two value sets which will be covered in my category category key flex field. Now for location, I will create demo country assets independent character text state I will create one more demo city. Now one more I will create for the asset key. These three I have created for location. So these are our value sets that we have created now. I'll click on save and close. So this was the first task. Now moving back to my PPT. Now moving to the structure. So three important points we need to keep in mind is, while creating the structure, in one instance, only one category flex field, one location flex field, and one asset key flex field can be created. This should created means it only one can be active. So even if you create any number of structures for your category, location, and asset key, only one can be used. And the reason is the system control. The system will not allow you to use the structure other than the structure that has been selected in the system control. System will allow you to create more than one structure, but there is no use of it because you can only use the structure that has been mentioned in your system control. So as this is a practice instance, so we will have to use the structures that is mentioned in the system control, but we will see how the structure is created. So once we have defined the value set for category, location, and asset key flex fields, we will be defining the structure instance, and then we will be assigning few values to all the three flex fields. This way we'll understand the process, but ultimately we'll have to use the structures that are mentioned in the system control. In the next slide, we will be talking about the system control. Let us first see how structure instance and values are provided. So let's moving to the instance back. So the next step is manage fixed assets key flex field. Here in the key flex field name, mention category, search. So you will see the asset is the application, key flex field name is category, and here you will have to create the structure instance and then deploy it. Same way, if you search for location, in the location flex field, you will have to create the structure instance and then deploy it. Same goes for the asset key. So here, if you see the application name is asset, the key Flexfield name is asset key, and there you have to maintain the structure instance, and then deploy it. Likewise, the 3 structure will be created. So first we will see how we will create it for category, and then for the other 2 we will quickly create. So this is the category Flexfield. Go to manage structures. Now if you will search, you will see already 2 of the flex fields are created, one of which is enable and one is not. So now if I go and create a new flex field, let's see if system will allow us or no. So this enabled checkbox is tick over here. If I'll click on save, I will get an error. You must enter no more than 1 enabled structure in the application 140 and the key Flexfield cat. There must not be more than 1 enabled structure. So moving out here, I'll cancel it and come back here. If you see this key category Flexfield, this is enabled. I'll have to disable this and then save and close. And now I will create the one which I want to enable. So I'll again rename it. Now I will add the segments. Sequence number 1, prompt I'll give as major. Display width I am taking as 30. Column name I'll take as segment 1. I will select the default value set code as we have defined it there. Demo major category. Segment level is not mandatory. If you want, you can select it here, else just save and close. Then the other one. Column name segment 2. Click on save and close. So this is our structure created. Just click on save and close. Done. Now manage structure instance. I will create the instance. So instance can be many, and many instance can be active, but we can use only one segment, or sorry, one instance only. Here this is enabled. Now if I save, I have to select the structure name. I will select this demo category Flexfield. So these two are coming. Now if you edit here, the required option we need to enable. So just click on required. We want both of these categories to be available for our instance as our structure. Click on save and close. Then if you will search here, see there are many instances created and all three of them are enabled, but we cannot use all the three of them. We can use only one. However, we can create many as per the fusion. Now we will deploy the Flexfield. Let it deploy for a second. Okay, so the error is we have to provide the segment label. So I'll just edit this. Okay, let's deploy it again. So yeah, deployment is completed. The deployment status is tick now. Same way we'll quickly create for location and asset key. So in the location, manage structures. In the same way, I'll have to see if any other is enabled. Just a second. I'll click on search, blank search. Yeah, so this asset location Flexfield is enabled. Now create another one. Enable it, save it, and then the segments you can add. Quickly add the segments. Country, column name I'll take as segment 1. Demo country I'll take. Okay, just save and close. Then another one, the state. State display with 30. Column name I'll take as segment 2. Value set code as demo. Just a second. Demo state. Now I can select the state segment also. Save and close. Okay, save and close. Then the third one is the city. I'll just quickly add city also. Third, then short from city, display with 30, column name segment 3, default value set. I can type here demo city. Why it is not taking search? Yeah, okay. Now this is the third one that has been created. I'll just save and close. So all the three are created. Save and close. Now create this instance. Add. Instance can be many, so no problem. Demo location flex. I'll take a quick name. Oh, sorry. Enable structure name. I'll take demo location Flexfield, and then all the three are available. I'll just click on the required checkbox quickly. So simple process, but too many steps are there, and this all is based on your client's requirement and specification, what all they want to have as the asset categories segments, and what all they want to have as the location segments. Click on done and then just deploy Flexfield. There cannot be any errors. Warnings are okay and fine, but no errors should be there when we deploy something. Click on OK. Now just go to asset key quickly. Then manage structures. So this one is also, the structure is enabled. I'll just click on add it and then disable this one. Save and close. Now I'll create a new one. I'll give demo key. Demo key. Delimiter I'll give as dash. Enable, save, and I'll have just one segment here as the asset key. Then sequence number 1, prompt can be just key, short prompt can be key, 30 width, column name segment 1, and then the default value set code as the demo. I'll select here demo and then demo asset key. Okay, so this is the third one. The structure is created. I'll quickly create the instance now. Structure is done. Structure instance, create demo key flex, again this will depend on your company or the client. Whatever they want as your asset keys, you can have the values accordingly, and then click on required. Okay, save and close, deploy it. So we have seen 2 of the steps. Just deploy Flexfield. So once we have created the structure, we have created the instances, we'll have to provide the values. So providing the value can be done with the first task, manage fixed asset Flexfield value sets. You need to open our value set code. So if I click on demo, it will give us all. So see, if I want to give the values to the major category, I will click on manage values, and here I'll go on add value. I want building, sorry, what were our values? Let's see from here. Yeah, major categories was building, vehicles, and furnitures. I'll take all the 3 buildings. Then I'll add vehicles and the furniture, and I'll save and close. Now if I give the value to a minor category and go to manage values, and click on add, you will see the value and the independent value for that we need to provide. Like if for our building I am giving office as a value, here I need to select the corresponding independent value for that. Likewise, if I give shopping complex, it's again a building, so I have to specify here building. And then if I want chair is a furniture, I'll give the value as furniture. If car, I want to give value as car, then car can come under my vehicle option. So this way I can specify the values for my independent and dependent value sets. Likewise, you can have multiple values for your city, country, asset key. Okay, asset key I can have new, import, and likewise. So this is how values can be provided. So this is about both the things, the value sets and the value set structure. Sorry, the asset key Flexfield structure and the instance and all. Now moving further to the third setup, which is the system control. So the system controls provide us the information about the structure of our company. It will define the enterprise name and most importantly the oldest date placed in service, the Flexfield structures and asset numbering scheme. So this is a one-time setup, as I have told you, that provides information regarding our company, the Flexfield structure it is using, and the oldest date when the asset was placed in service and which is still being used by our company or the organization. The oldest date placed in service controls what dates are valid to place assets in service and on what date to begin with our calendars. You can only update the oldest date placed in service before you assign any calendars to depreciation books. Configure Flexfield segments to capture the data that represents the value set, like we have configured already the Flexfield structure, so it configures the values of the attributes. Then the starting the asset numbering schemes tells the starting asset number, which defines the number to begin automatically numbering your asset. Okay, and when you use this automatic numbering, then manual numbering must be less than the starting asset number that you have established. Okay, so let's move to the instance and check about the system control, as this is a one-time setup. This is already set up in the instance, so we have to just view it. Okay, if I go to manage system control here, all the fields except the enterprise name is available for me to change, but the oldest date placed in service, the Flexfield structure and the asset numbering is already filled out. But when you get a fresh instance, this information you have to fill in. But as this is already filled in, so Flexfield structure that we can use are the category, location and asset key. We cannot use our own structure that we have created. We can use only these structures that are mentioned over here. That's why it is saying that only one structure can be used for one instance. So the oldest date placed in service is an important task here, and the structure that have been mentioned, because only these we can use. So these are already created, which were enabled previously, but now for the demo purpose I have disabled it, but I will be enabling them again later. For now, I will quickly move to the fiscal years and the asset calendars, so that we can understand how the fiscal year and the asset calendar is set up. A fiscal year is a standard set of periods used to prepare annual financial statements for reporting and tax purposes. Usually we represent a calendar with 12-month period, but it can vary business and country wise. We can also refer it as the financial year or the budget year. When we set up fiscal year, we need to define the start date and end date of each of our fiscal years, starting from the earliest date placed in service through at least one fiscal year beyond the current fiscal year. means the year that we have mentioned in the system control. From there we need to start our calendar, and till the last year, till the, like if we are in 2023, so till 2022 we need to create our calendar. Define at least one calendar for each fiscal year to break the fiscal year into multiple reporting periods such as months. Depreciation fails if the current fiscal year is the last fiscal year that you have set up. We can set up multiple fiscal year and assign them to our different corporate books to meet the various reporting and tax requirement. If we talk about the calendar breaks down our fiscal years into accounting periods. We can define a calendar with many periods as per our reporting requirement. Means we can have a period with day basis also, like for all the 365 days we can have different periods, day wise periods. Each book you set up requires a depreciation calendar or a prorate calendar. You can use one calendar for multiple depreciation book and as both the depreciation and prorate calendar for a book. Corporate books can share the same calendars. A tax book can have a different calendar than its associate corporate book. A calendar for a tax book can be used as the same as the fiscal year or different fiscal year as a calendar with its corporate book. Okay, let's move in the instance and see how we define the fiscal year and asset calendar. It is a very quick and easy task. So, but we need to identify the proper years and the proper calendar periods. So this is the already created fiscal year. If I open one, you will see the year is mentioned and the start date and end date of that year. So this is our year from where our calendar will start till 2025 in this calendar. I'll quickly create one. So add demo fiscal cal. Now just save it and this will be enabled. Now fiscal year, if I enter 2021, I'll have to specify the starting date and the end date. So month I need to have first, then the date, month, then the date, and then the year. If you want, you can mention the mid-year start date. Now when you will click add, automatically the system will add the years. You need not to fill the details again. Yeah. Likewise, you can have n number of fiscal years. Just click on save and close and your calendar is created. The fiscal year is created. Now moving to manage asset calendars. Here you can specify the periods in your calendar. See, if I open the Indian calendar, it has period per year as 12. So all the periods need to be defined. Now, if you see for daily calendar, it has periods per year as 365 and per day is treated as a different period. Likewise, based on your requirement, you can create the calendar. Now I'll create one. Here you need to map it with your fiscal year. Period I'll take as 12. Suffix you can take as fiscal, calendar, or none. So I'll take as fiscal. Click on period. Now this period name should match with the period name of your GL periods. If this is different, your fixed asset implementation will fail, as the depreciation info will not be transferred to your GL periods. So we need to define them looking into our GL periods that have been defined. Say if my GL periods is defined as Jan 21, I can take it as Jan 21. This we need to verify and then prepare it actually. Okay, I have taken it as wrong. So we have to create it for the whole year. See, if I make a mistake here, then it will not map with my GL period. So the month's start date and end date system is taking automatically. Now March 21, third period. April 21, your fourth period. May 21, fifth. June 21 is 6th. July 21, 7th. June, July, August 21, then August, September 21. October 21, November 21, and then your 12th period is December 21. Now if I click on add, the system will automatically take for your year 22. You just have to click on add. So this is how we create our calendar. Just save and close. Okay. One more I'll add. So 2 years periods we have added. I'll click on save and close. So this is how my calendar is created. Now moving to my PPT again. The last topic for the day is prorate convention. Prorate convention is used by Oracle Asset to determine how much depreciation to be taken for the first and last year of an asset life. We can initially set up all our prorate conventions from the convention period corresponding to the oldest date placed in service through the end of the current fiscal years. At the end of each fiscal year, Asset automatically sets up our prorate convention for the next fiscal year. Assets prorate the depreciation taken from for an asset in its first fiscal year of life according to our prorate date. For example, if you use half year prorate convention, then the prorate date of all assets using the convention is simply the midpoint of your fiscal year. So asset acquired in the same fiscal year take the same amount, means a half year's worth of depreciation in the first year. If, however, you use the following month prorate convention, the prorate date is the beginning of the month following the month when the asset is placed in service. So the amount of depreciation taken from the asset acquired in the same fiscal year varies according to the month they are placed in service. For example, if I have bought an asset in April and if I am using the prorate date as beginning of the month from the month placed in service, so it will not calculate depreciation for April, but from May it will calculate the depreciation based on the policy of the company. Define prorate conventions to determine depreciation in the first and last year of an asset, based on which your asset is placed in service. Since assets can be acquired at any time of a given period, prorate conventions must account for every date in the fiscal year for assets to depreciate properly. The prorate convention and the date placed in service determine the prorate date. Assets uses the prorate date to determine the prorate period in your prorate calendar. If you retire the asset before it's fully reserved, then the asset uses the prorate date from the retirement convention to determine how much depreciation to take in the asset's last year of life. Basically, this helps us to understand when an asset is put to use and when the asset is retired. So for that period, how the depreciation will be computed. So let's move into the instance and see how the prorate conventions are created. So I'll show you the one which are already created first to give you, okay, so we'll create the one. I don't know why here no data is appearing. Okay, let it be. We'll create the one and see how this works. So I will give it demo full month. Means if my asset is placed in service on any of the month, the depreciation will be any day of the month, then full month's depreciation will be created. Reference data set can be common or depending upon your business units reference data. So this is the US one business unit which we are using, therefore it is defaulting the reference data of that BU. Now I'll select my calendar, demo fiscal calendar. Now click on prorate dates. So start date will be start date will be 1st of January and end date will be 31st December. Jan 31st means for this month. For the month Jan, if any asset is placed on any of these dates, my system will compute the depreciation from the very first day of that month. Likewise, if I click on add for Feb month, now my asset, if it is placed in service on any of these dates from 1st to 28th of February, then the depreciation will be calculated from the 1st of Feb. Likewise for March, April, May, June, July. Likewise we can have the prorate calendar. So these prorate dates will determine when your asset is placed in service. Means if the start date is between any of these dates, 1st of December to 31st of December, the depreciation will be applicable from 1st of December itself. This may be my company's policy. I'll click on save and close. Now if my calendar says for half of the month, like if my asset is placed in service on say 1st to 15th, let me just define this half month. Okay, reference data set again I will take as this fiscal year demo. So if the start date is 1st of January till 15th day of the month, then the depreciation will be applicable from 1st of January. But if my asset is placed in between 16th day of January till 31st day of January, then I want my depreciation to be applicable from 16th, means for half of the month. So this way I can create a calendar. So see here I will have to just change the dates as system is taking exact 15 days time. So 1st of March, okay, here I need to have 15, then 16 will come here. Okay, this 2 I need to cross. Now it is taking this exact date. So here I will need 228. Now okay, here I'll take 15. This date needs to be 16. Likewise you can have based on your company's policy from which date I want to have depreciation for the asset which is newly added in any of the period. I can have the depreciation rule. Now if you see it is giving the correct dates. So this way I can define prorate conventions. When my asset will be retiring, then also these prorate convention can be used for computing the depreciation based on the depreciation method. So we have covered fixed assets Flexfield value sets, then the fixed asset key Flexfields, the system controls, the fiscal year, And if you want to see under manage asset locations, the locations under the key flex field can be seen here, all the combinations. So the country, state, city, building, whatever be your effective location structure, based on that, those values will be available in your manage location. And likewise, in the manage asset categories, you can see the major and the minor categories values that you have specified while creating your structure. Those values you can have here. The instance is taking time. Yeah, if I click here, so all the major and minor category that have been specified in the system are available here. Same goes for your asset key, but it is not a mandatory task, so it is not available here. Just click on all tasks. Now you can see manage asset key. Okay, this is the task, manage asset keys. Manage asset keys will provide you the values of the asset keys that have been entered in the asset key flex field. Okay, so this post completes our topics for today. So hope you have got a clarity about the setups that need to be done, and thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining.